Hello and welcome to the 13th week of Season 23, Season of the Wish, starting on February 20th, 2024. So, for week 13, let's get going with our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia, and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Taken Enemies and the Plague Aina Mina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Keep of Owned Edges, which can be located over in the Harbinger Seclude on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep, the Trove Guardian is located in the Hellmouth, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Hawkis in the Anchor of Light. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Scolus, Pride, Fanatic, Insanity, and Omnigul, Anguish. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. For the 30th Anniversary expansion, Dares of Eternity Legendary rounds are Hive, Vex, and for the final round, Valasta Arc. The loot rotation will be on week 4's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfinder armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Stasis Precision Frame Shotgun Fractithis, the Solar High Impact Frame Auto Rifle Cryosura Milo, the Stasis Precision Frame Hand Cannon Vulpicula, the Arc Precision Frame Bow Wolftone Draw, the Solar High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Iotona Draconis, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher Canis Major, the Arc Vice Rapid Fire Frame Scout Rifle Contingency Plan, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Legal Action 2, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher Outrageous Fortune, the Void Adaptive Frame Sword Steel Syllabus C14, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Spoiler Alert. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Communion, where the modifier is Empath, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Also this week you'll have Altar of Reflections Catalyst and Altar of Reflections Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is Downfall, with extra shields, locked loadouts, and extra champions. Barrier and Unstoppable champions, Solar Threat, Scorched Earth, Kinetic Overcharge, Stasis and Solar Surges, with an overcharged weapon, and Galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Hard Reset, Contest Mode enabled with Barrier and Unstoppable champions, Arc Threat, Martyr and Empath modifiers, Void and Strand shields, with Stasis and Solar Surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Liming Harbour. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon Exotic mission on the EDZ, and the Star-Crossed Exotic mission in the Helm. For the Season of the Deep, all 3 fishing ponds are now exotic all week. Raids and Dungeons. The Crota's End raid challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Ear-Ute the Deathslinger, called Equal Vessel. All 6 players must rotate the Chalice of Light buff in the same order throughout the entire fight. Each player cannot hold the Chalice again before all 5 other players have. Plus, if you complete the weekly challenge on Master, you'll get an Adept weapon. The Adept weapon you get is a random drop, but works on a knockout system. You will get a new one with every challenge you complete every week until you've unlocked them all. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Nezarec, called All Hands. Each player in your fire team must trigger 1 node on each side before the damage phase begins. The Val the Disciple challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction, where Guardians must kill all champions within a few seconds of each other on all rounds. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Confluxes, called Wait for It, where every Yellow Bar Wyvern must be killed as they sacrifice themselves to the Confluxes. The Deep Zone Crypt challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Tanix Part 1, called Of All Trades. Guardians must perform each role at least once, Operator, Scanner, and Suppressor. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Consecrated Mind, called Staying Alive, where you must not kill the spawning Cyclopses in the first 2 rooms. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the 5th encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory, where Guardians must not shoot the same Riven Eye twice. Your Pinnacle raid will be Kingsfall over in the Legends tab, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the 1st encounter, Totems, called The Grass is Always Greener. Players cannot take the same brand type twice in a row. The 2nd encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brand of the Initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The 3rd encounter, Golgoroth, called Gazer Maze. The gaze holder must stand in the pool of unclaimed light when swapping the gaze. The 4th encounter, Daughters of Oryx, called Under Construction. Players cannot stand on the same plate twice in a single phase. And the 5th encounter, Oryx, called Hands Off. Players must not kill the same Ogre or Light Eater Knight throughout the encounter. Also, with the Kingsfall being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic scout rifle Touch of Malice. The Pinnacle dungeon will be the Grasp of Avarice over on the Cosmodrome, and our exotic mission Rotator will be Operation Seraph Shield, with the Revision 0 exotic pulse rifle being the main reward. Craftable weapons available from this mission include the Stasis Aggressive Frame Linear Fusion Rifle Fire and Forget, the Arc Lightweight Frame Bow Tripwire Canary, the Stasis Aggressive Burst Pulse Rifle Disparity, the Arc Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle Path of Least Resistance, the Solar Aggressive Glaive Judgment of Kelgaroth, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Retrofit Escapade, the Void Precision Frame Hand Cannon iKalos HC, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun iKalos SG, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Sniper iKalos SR, and the Arc Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun iKalos SMG, with the Warmind's Avatar Armor Set. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 66 challenges over the first 10 weeks of the season. So, as a reminder, if you complete 63 out of the 66, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Here's a few that you might have missed that you might want to get completed in the next few months. Boss Battle. Defeat bosses in Strikes or Vanguard playlists. Bonus progress is granted for defeating bosses on Hero difficulty or higher. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Over Specialise. Get 100 final blows with weapons using special ammo in ritual activities. Earn bonus progress by defeating Guardians. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Darkest Nightfall. Complete any Nightfall strike on Hero difficulty or higher. Bonus progress is granted for completing Nightfalls above Hero difficulty. 4. Challenge XP++, Bright Dust and a Nightfall weapon. Taking all challenges. Complete weekly playlist challenges. 4. Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Throne World activities. In the Throne World, complete bounties and earn progress by completing patrols, public events and looting lost sectors. 4. Challenge XP and Bright Dust. Round and round we go. Generate orbs of power in Vanguard, Gambit or Crucible playlists. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Absolutely stunning. Stun 50 champions. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. And Mod Collector. Unlock 12 artifact mods. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Hello! As a reminder, your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armour you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you'll only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. This season will see the introduction of Gunsmith engrams, as well as a selection of foundry weapons for completing Legend and Master lost sectors while solo, with Legend being a 70% chance to Master being 100%, assuming the Guardian is thorough enough to leave no champion standing. Thorough completions on Master difficulty will also have the advantage of weapons dropping an additional perk in either the 3rd or 4th column. The weapons available from the lost sectors are grouped into 4 weapons per day over 4 days, and after the 4th day the cycle repeats back to the first set. The following weapons will be available from the lost sectors during the Season of the Wish. Day 1, the Strand High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Nox Perennial 5, the Strand Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Old Sterling, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Grenade Launcher Marcelian C, and the Stasis Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Sinua SI6. Day 2, the Stasis High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Psychomatic 5, the Strand Precision Frame Scout Rifle Glissando 47, the Strand Vice Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Urakanji, and the Arc Adaptive Frame Sword Nazaruddin. Day 3, the Solar Lightweight Frame Sidearm Heliocentric QSC, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Sniper Rifle Last Foray, the Arc Aggressive Frame Shotgun Hand in Hand, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Battle Scar. Day 4, the Nadir Void Adaptive Frame Sword Geodetic HSM, the Arc Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon Combined Action, the Void Wave Frame Grenade Launcher Harsh Language, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Coronature 22. This week's rotation will start on Weapon Set 1 on Tuesday's reset. Tuesday, February 20th will be Gilded Precept on Neptune for exotic chests, Arc Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Wednesday, February 21st will be the Scavenger's Den on the EDZ for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Arc Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Fusion Rifles with Barrier and Overload champions. Thursday, February 22nd will be Sky.4 on the EDZ for exotic boots, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void Shields, Pestilence modifier, overcharged shotguns with barrier and unstoppable champions. Friday, February 23rd will be the Quarry on EDZ for exotic gauntlets, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth modifier, overcharged grenade launchers with barrier and unstoppable champions. Saturday, February 24th will be the Aphelions Rest on the Dreaming City for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void Shields, Epitaph modifier, overcharged shotguns with overload and unstoppable champions. Sunday, February 25th will be the Bay of Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, Raider Shield modifier, overcharged snipers with overload and unstoppable champions. And finally, back round to Monday, February 26th will be Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic boots, Solar Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Epitaph modifier, overcharged swords with overload and unstoppable champions.
Lead the way.
Our 13th featured Nightfall of the season will see us face off against Ulnath Light Cleanser in the Psyops Battlegrounds Cosmodrome, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, Ascendant shards and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with Ascendant shards in Grandmasters. This Nightfall will have Barrier, Unstoppable and Hive Guardian champions, with Void, Solar and Arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are Hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, Champions foe, you will face Barrier, Unstoppable and Lucent champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Overcharged weapons. Weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increase damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Void threat, 25% increase for incoming void damage. Stasis and solar surges, 25% bonus to outgoing stasis and solar damage. Overcharged shotguns, 25% bonus damage with shotguns. Martyr, exploder units have more health. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Togetherness, both health regen is reduced, if near another player, health regen is increased. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized, Togetherness and Martyr. Join in progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. Fire pit, when defeated acolytes spawn firepools that cause damage over time. And Chafe, the radar is disabled. To combat champions, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods. This season's artifact is the Queen's Force Sensor. The anti-champion mods available this week are Anti-Barrier Sidearm, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, and Unstoppable Bow. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalist, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Ariana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword The Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet Second Chance, which gain a second charge of a shield throw melee which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. For Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Kinetic Scout Rifle Touch of Malice, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, the Titan Gauntlet Sash and Wake, where Fusion Grenade hits stun unstoppable champions, and the Hunter Gauntlet Zathras' Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Kinetic Heavy Burst Frame Hand Cannon Warden's Law. The Warden's Law has a base impact of 92, a range of 56 and stability of 29. It can roll with Kill Clip, Rampage and Zen Moment, with Enlightened Action, Moving Target and Snapshot Sights. It has the Origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. The 6v6 control playlist will feature Sparrow Control as a selectable mode. Sparrow Control is a modified version of Control, where the only difference from a regular Control match is that you will be able to summon and ride your Sparrow around the map. You will still have to capture and defend 3 control points to win, but you do have the advantage of getting there faster. Sparrows can also be used as weapons to run over or blow up your opponent. In Sparrow Control, Guardians conquer capture points while being on them whilst no enemies are in capture range. The process takes about 10 seconds and is not affected by the number of Guardians taking part in the capture. Each team begins with a capture point under their control, the one that is closest to their starting area. The third capture point will initially be neutral. Depending on the number of capture points held by a team, the points rewarded for killing an opponent varies. The scoring is calculated as follows. Base kill rewards +1 point. Zone advantage: when a team holds 2 capture points, killing an enemy will reward the team with 2 points. Power play: when a team holds all 3 capture points, killing an enemy will reward them with +3 points. Capture: conquering a capture point rewards the team that claimed it with +1 point. Capturing a point will reward you and your team a small portion of super energy. If you are on the point while it's captured, you will gain additional energy on top of this small portion. During a control match, there is only one power ammo spawn location. It will spawn in at 45 seconds and then every 120 seconds. Control matches feature an 8-minute time limit and all players will respawn automatically 5 seconds after the death mechanics. The first team to 150 points, or the team that has the most points at the end of the time limit, is declared the winner. And Rift returns in the Party Relentless playlist. Rift is a 6v6 game mode that focuses heavily on objective-based gameplay and not just killing the enemy team. Instead of accruing points based on defeating enemies, players can score points by picking up the spark and dunking into their opponent's rift, which is near the enemy spawn. A team can either win by scoring 5 points before the opposing team can, by scoring 3 points without the enemy team getting a look in, or having more points when the time runs out. The spark spawns in the centre of the map and starts to charge after 6 seconds of the round starting, and becomes visible for all players on the map. After another 12 to 13 seconds, the spark is available for players to pick up, giving both teams approximately 20 seconds to fight over the spark before either side can pick it up. For 5 seconds after a player picks up the spark, they become marked on both teams' maps. After that, they are only marked on their own team's map unless they are in view of the enemy team. The carrier can only hold onto the spark for 1 minute and 15 seconds. After that, the spark detonates, killing the carrier and those around them before resetting. Should the carrier die in any way that isn't from the spark detonating, the spark drops at that location. If a player picks up the spark whilst in their super, they are immediately pulled out of their super. Furthermore, they will not gain any more super energy whilst holding the spark, and will be unable to use their super even if it is fully charged. If a player dies, they must wait 10 seconds before respawning, but their teammates can revive them during this time. This forces players to focus on teamwork to help push up on their enemies, but can also leave some players out of the game for an extended duration if their team can't or won't revive them. Elimination will also be available in the 3v3 playlist. Elimination is a 3v3 game mode that focuses on eliminating the enemy team. Teammates can revive each other, but cannot revive themselves. The first team to eliminate the other team wins the round. If neither team have been eliminated after 2 minutes, then a control point will spawn somewhere on the map. The team that captures the point will win the round. If neither team can capture the point, then whichever guardian is closest to the centre of the point will win the round. Heavy ammo will spawn in the round after a team has won 3 rounds. The first team to win 5 rounds wins the match. And available in the Crucible Labs playlist this week will be Relic. Relic is a 6v6 PvP party mode where all players wreak havoc and destruction on their foes with a relic weapon. Relics include the Aegis Shield from Vault of Glass, the Synaptic Spear from Season of the Risen, and the Scythe from Season of the Haunted. Each player charges their personal relic energy by defeating opponents with their normal loadout. Upon reaching full charge, players can acquire the relic from the Relic Depot. Defeating relic holders and using relics to defeat opponents earns points for the team.
Delightful!
And Saint 14 will be back at the weekend with Trials of Osiris Dominion, bringing with him a whole host of rewards for players who do make it to the lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey exotic Sparrow, a new armor set, and the new Trials Shader Visor Regalia. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high stakes game mode with a twist of a capture point. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head to head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday Reset until Tuesday Weekly Reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials of Osiris will grant exclusive weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, masterwork materials, and even adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
Earn your honour, Guardian.
Riven's Wishes continues this week, where players can visit Marasov in the Helm to accept a new weekly quest with a high-risk objective in the Dreaming City, such as completing legendary lost sectors or dungeons. Upon completion of these weekly objectives, players can return to Mara to receive a wish token. Each week you can use this token to choose a prize from one of the 3 different categories. Category 1, Last Wish Resonance, where you can choose a red bordered Last Wish raid weapon. These are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Supremacy, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Scout Rifle Transfiguration, the Solar Adaptive Frame Rocket Launcher Apex Predator, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Chattering Bone, the Arc Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Nation of Beasts, the Arc Adaptive Frame Fusion Rifle Techian Force, the Solar Lightweight Frame Bow Tyranny of Heaven, and the Void High Impact Frame Auto Rifle Age Old Bond. Category 2, Exotics, where you can choose a piece of Lightfall Year Exotic Armour. For the Hunters, the Speedloader Slacks, Certarachne's Facade, Triton Vice, and the Mothkeeper's Wraps. For the Titans, the Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap, Abeyant Leap, a Bull Warden, and the Pyrogale Gauntlets. For the Warlocks, Balador's Wrathweavers, Swarmers, Cenotaph Mask, and the Briarbinds. Category 3, Miscellaneous, where you can choose from a variety of other rewards, such as Dawning and Fest of the Lost Mementos, Ascendant Shards, Ascendant Alloys, and Exotic Ciphers. Riven's Wishes will offer new quests for 6 weeks, but you will have time to complete them and earn rewards up through the Final Shapes release.
That is amazing.
Also continuing this week will be Moments of Triumph 2023, with a collection of 30 challenges celebrating everything you've been able to achieve in the past year. If you've been active, you'll likely already have some of these completed, which just gets you closer to getting the 26 you'll need for the 2023 title. Along the way, you'll also earn some event rewards, including the new Laurel Shell for your Ghost, and the Firegilt Quadrig Sparrow, plus access to purchase the 2023 Moments of Triumph shirt.
Get back out there.
And as a reminder, on March 5th, 2024, the Ado and Armor Synth bounties will refresh. So if you haven't completed the 10 per character per season, now would be a good time to get these done. Then when the refresh happens, you can get an extra 10 per character for the duration of the extended season. Plus, this week we'll see the return of bonus Gambit, Vanguard, and Crucible ranks all week long. And that's it for the 13th week of Season of the Wish. Thank you for watching. Allons-y.
Guardian down.